All right, let's go live. Oh, hi, Queenie. What a way to start. How you doing, my man? Thank you for being on straight away. Look, let's talk about the journey and why I'm here and what I'm doing right now. So I started in Sorare, I want to say 2021 March. Yeah, that's when it was. And look, I thought I was pretty good at French football, so I focused on what I knew I was good at, starting to take some young players and see what they were going to bring me. Long story short, I've played for a bit. I've had some good moments and some bad moments, like everybody in Sorare. And one thing that I've always been very good at, I guess, is being able to flip some young talent. And one thing I've never been really good at was being able to find the players and put them together to win rewards. So that's the screen that you see right there is my Sorare data screen. As you can see, I'm not making this up, or I'm not like lying or anything about what I am. Look at this, 2.89% win, only 22 winning lineups in about a year. So as you could see, this is not what I was doing the best. What I had done all right though is speaking in Australian dollars, I probably had put about 22,000 and I had made about 38,000. So that's US dollar here. So Australian dollars is a bit less, a bit more depending how you see things. But yeah, 20 US I think is 26 Australian, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, long story short, that's what happened. I did that for about a year, and I was pretty happy with what I was doing. And then I see the Ethereum going down, and I'm thinking about what am I going to do. And then I thought, instead of injecting any new money on it, I'm going to try and take advantage of the fact that the Ethereum go down to try and convince somebody to buy my whole gallery and to change my strategy altogether. So I had, before I sold my whole gallery, I had about 290 cards, maybe almost 300 cards, half limited, half rare, and maybe 3 or 4 super rare. Some very good cards that I was pretty happy with, and that I have actually, some of them I bought again. But a lot of players that maybe would go be good one day. So if I had kept my strategy, there's a chance that at the end of the year or next year, I would have been rich of players that no one knew about, just because I had them. But I decided to try and go the other route. There's sort of two strategies. It's either you're trading, you're buying cheap, you're selling expensive, or you're trying to go for the reward. And I think both teams have good ROI. Maybe the reward route has a better ROI. And actually, that's what I'm going for right now, just to see. So what I'll do is I'll share that journey with all of you guys. In that, there'll definitely be rewards for everybody who's following. I mean, Queenie, who's right now, and John Nellis as well. I'm sure a lot of you are following. Are always pretty grateful with the community, and I definitely want to be the same. So with the reward working, I'll definitely share a few of them to anybody who's commentating and sorry, and who's following me on my YouTube channel or on Facebook or wherever you find me. Anyway, let's go to the card and let's go to what I did. So I had 9.3 ETH is what I had eventually, and so I decided to build a team with my 9.3 ETH. My strategy was to be able to get reward. So to get reward, I focused on players from the MLS, the K League, and the J League, and so I started building from there. So we're just going to go position by position. As you can see, there's some limited, there's some rare. There's no super rare right now, but we'll see if the rewards can bring me that, or if the rewards that I sell can make me shift to a like Queenie's latest video. I'm sure you guys should jump on it if you have never seen Queenie's YouTube channels. If you go on there, that the video of about vertical move, trying to go from limited to rare and from rare to super rare. It's very interesting with Andrew Ladd, if I'm not mistaken. Tune in and have a look at Queenie's channel. So anyway, this is the team that I've started to do with the money that I had. Let's start with the goalkeepers. And the goalkeepers, I got 12 of them. 5 of them are rare. Let's go and start with the rare. The one that I count on to play, of course, Maxime Crépeau, international Canadian. So a bit of something for the World Cup as well. But the reason I took him is because LA has been so good in the MLS this season. It's obviously my most expensive cards, 0.9. And I took it without a doubt. Budada just because I know he was going to go far in the MLS. And then once the MLS is over, there's a few World Cup games to play for Canada, and Canada could be a nice surprise for it. So that's why he's there. The second goalkeeper here that I took, Kim Yong-kwan, 37 years old, 0.15, definitely one of the players that you don't know when his career is going to end. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be at the end of the season. But if you have ever watched K-League, if you have ever watched Songnam playing, or if you've never watched K-League but you listen to Ross K-League, who's probably the expert on Twitter these days and who has a great blog where he updates everybody on the K-League lineups every single week, you'll know that Kim Yong-kwang is one of the best goalkeepers in K-League despite his age, and he's definitely a starter for Songnam. So 0.15 to get it. The two other goalkeepers that I've had are not so much part of the reward, but more about maybe I'm going to make money from them. So one of them is Matthew Ryan. Matthew Ryan is the Australian goalkeeper. I'm living in Australia right now, so I got to represent the country. I got him in for two reasons. When he's the Australian goalkeeper, so he's going to play for Australia whenever there's an international game, and there's a couple coming that I feel Australia can do well in, one against the UAE, and then if they do win against Peru. And the second reason that I got him is because he's right now number 2 at Real Sociedad after I've been number 2 at Arsenal, and I feel like he's going to look for a number 1 position somewhere. So as you can see, I got his rare and I got his limited. The last rare goalkeeper that I got is Marvin Schweb. And Marvin Schweb, maybe you guys don't know who he is, but he's the goalkeeper for FC Köln. And FC Köln has just finished 6, I think, in the Bundesliga, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, 6, which means that FC Köln next season is going to play in the Europa Conference League. So I got 2 of them because I'm going to have one who can potentially play every 3 days next season, and one that I'm going to sell once the season comes back because his price is probably going to go up. So that's the reason why I have to. I might keep them both, but in my mind, one of them I keep, one of them I sell when season restart. If I'm right, I make a bit of money. If I'm wrong, I'll just keep both to play, so then I can attack 2 competitions, 2 SO5 with the same goalkeeper. That's for my rare goalkeeper. Let's go and have a look at my limited goalkeeper. So I got Maxime Crepeau as well, same reason as I had the rare goalkeeper. I got Sean Johnson. You know, if Maxime Crepeau is the best goalkeeper on the East, or sorry, is the goalkeeper in one of the best teams in the East, Sean Johnson is the goalkeeper of one of the best teams in the West, being the goalkeeper of New York City FC. I put Sean Johnson in rare in my former strategy, in my former gallery, at the end of the season last year. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I bought him from 0.5. And then I sold him at the beginning of this season for 0.9. So I had made a hefty profit of him. So I know that his price is bent to go up when he plays good game because everybody likes Sean Johnson and knows that he's a regular. So I got him. The other goalkeeper that I got is Shuichi Gonda. Shuichi Gonda is the starter for the Japanese national team, and he also plays for Shimizu S-Pools. So I have him for the whole Japanese season plus the World Cup. If he keeps his spot, and people who follow Japanese football or like Japanese national team know that maybe only the Japanese national team manager loves Gonda at his main goalkeeper. There's a lot of other talented goalkeeper, but right now he is the goalkeeper of the national team, and that's why I took him in my squad so that I can have him for the World Cup if he keeps his spot. The other goalkeeper that I had in K-League, Kim Yong-kwan, same reason as I got him in rare. I got him in limited for 0.03 because he's great. And then 2 of the best goalkeeper of the K-League, and 2 of them not being too old, as in they have a few years in front of them. Jo Yeon-woo, who is with Ulsan, and Ulsan is one of the best teams in the league, 30 years old. And I think Ulsan is going to probably end at the top of the competition eventually. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. So that Yeon-woo will probably be good utility going forward. And Song Bum-kon, who is the goalkeeper of Jeonbuk, and Jeonbuk is also one of the best team of K-League. And Song Bum-kon is 23 years old. So utility for a lot of reasons. So that's the goalkeepers. 12 goalkeepers. I used to have, if I'm not mistaken, something like 33 goalkeepers, but only like 4 or 5 of them were playing there with 12 goalkeepers. If we remove Matthew Ryan, who's not playing right now, but he will play with Australia, everybody else is actually a starter. So it's a, like I said, it's a different strategy, and we're going to go with this one. Let's move on to the defenders. There we are. So same thing. We're going to start with rare. Maybe I can be smarter and just picked rare in my scarcity. Look at me. I'm just learning every day. Here we are. So the rare. We're going to start by the first one that I bought a minute and a half ago, and I bought him back from the stack that I sold. It's Leo Lacroix. Now, Leo Lacroix might be no one to all of you guys, but again, I live in Australia, and Leo Lacroix is probably about to be the best defender, the best player in the league. At least he's nominated in the fourth best player in the league. He plays for Western United here in Australia. And the main reason why I took him, no lie, it's because I think it's only a matter of weeks, months, until Australia A-League goes into Sorare. So the season is about to finish now. We are at the semifinals of the playoff, and then the grand final is about in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe. But I think like for the next season, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, we got Ecuador now, we got Chile, we got a lot of leagues. I don't know why Australia is not in there, but I think it's coming. And when it's coming, if Leo Lacroix stays for Western United, he's one of the best players in the league. He's going to score beautifully if he is still with Western United next season, and Sorare gets the elite. That's the main reason I have him. I hope that I'm not wrong, and if I'm wrong, he only costed me 0.015 in today's ETH world. It's not that much, so that's why I have Leo Lacroix. Hong Jung-won, I feel like it's a no-brainer, 0.05. Anybody who likes Sorare, I'm going to click on him and look at his pricing and where they go. Oh, I'm not on the right one. Oh, sorry, there we go. Oh, I can't share the same screen. Interesting. Let's try and open in this one. He won't let me. Anyway, if we look at his prices, I'll look at it on mine. Sorry, I decided to share only one tab, which means you can't see the tab that I'm watching right now, but I'll describe it to you. His price went to. Let me get. It takes me a while. We're gonna get there. His price easily goes quite high because he scores so well. So at 0.5 right now, he went to 0.1 in February. He was at 0.09 in October last year. He's a very good scorer right now. He's just scored a goal today, if I'm not mistaken. So his floor price went from 0.525 to 0.64 in the past hour. And he's a sure bet, I think, for any team, any player who follows K-League knows that Hong Jung-won, is one of those players who's going to always score good goals for Daegu. He's who he plays for, and like I said, he just scored with an assist from Cesina. So I'm double happy because I got Cesina as well. Then we go to the MLS, and in MLS, a player that people know, Lalas Abubakar. Same thing, a good scorer through and through. Will always have good scores. I don't doubt him. His haircut is probably the most known thing on Sorare, and that's why it is there. Kamal Miller, I've always had him in my former gallery, and right now Montreal are getting really, really good in the MLS. They're having a stellar season, and so that's why I get him back in. He's also a Canadian international. Brooks Lennon, because he's a young, up-and-coming defender at Atlanta United, and that's why he's here. And Chinonso Ofor, although I would have loved to had he's a forward card. I got this defender card. It's all right. He'll score some interesting results anyway. 20 years old, Nigerian, and slowly but surely making his mark in the MLS. That's our rare card. As you can see, the most expensive was just 0.131, and it's Lalas Abubakar. Let's have a look at my limited defenders. So in my limited, there's a bit of Inter. There's a bit more limited, as you can see. Let's start by who I know most. Let's start by France. Alexander Djikou, instrumental all season with Strasbourg, cracking scores, has gotten me my best reward in this game, thanks to him and a few other players. Of course, I got Florian Wirtz about 3 or 4 months ago, just after his injury, but obviously his value was going to go up and up and up and up. And he is definitely a defender that I rate. And Strasbourg is a good team who potentially will play Europe next season. So no-brainer, that's why I took him. William Saliba, same thing, no-brainer. Best young players in Ligue 1 this season. He's owned by Arsenal. Who knows if he's going to play in Premier League next year or if he's going to stay in Marseille. But 100% of the last 500% of the last 15. I think he probably missed only 2 games this season with Marseille. He's awesome at everything he does. So I think it was worth the price. Next, that's probably the only one in Ligue 1. If we look at Leo Lacroix is here again, my little Australian defender. If we stay in Europe, Federico Di Marco from Inter Milan for, again, obvious reason, he scores great recently, but he's a young defender. He's not going to be always a starter with Inter Milan, but he has a bright future. In Europe, Nicola Tagliafico, everybody must know Tagliafico from Ajax. He's also an Argentine international, and so there was no doubt for me. And then in Asia, Kim Moon-wan, who, although this card is MLS, he is now a right back at Jeonbuk Motors, so it's worth it. Hayato Haraki, one of the very best scorer recently with Sanfranche from Hiroshima, who's a surprise team this season. Miki Yamane, any lover of Sorare and of our Kawasaki Frontale would know who Miki Yamane is. It wasn't the cheapest, but I thought it was worth it. And then Takuya Iwanami, which was one of the first cards in J-League that I got last year and was worth nothing. And then his price kept going up and up and up and up and up. And so now I actually really like him because I've seen him play quite a bit. And his price is okay, but look at his scores. I mean, 61 in the last 15. To me, I just had to get him. MLS, Joao Moutinho. I think the scores probably says it all. That's why I got him. Austin Trusty, only 22 years old, the young defender. And I think it's probably a good idea to have gotten him in now because he's got a bright future. I trust in him. That's what I do. I'm a dad. I'm a father. Dad's jokes are okay for me. Mamadou Fall, 19 years old, starter in one of the best defense in the league with Los Angeles FC. Very strong Senegalese defender. I think sky's the limit for him. So I pulled the trigger straight away. Andrew Farrell, the experienced defender of the New England Revolutions, for obvious reasons. And Diego Palacios, because up and coming, 21 years old, doing well with LAFC and, of course, international as well. So only 15 limited defenders, but I hope that I went for quality instead of quantity. Let us go to our midfielders. So midfielders, rare. Straight away, you can see Maximiliano Morales. I bought Maxi Morales in my former gallery at the end of the MLS season. I bought him for 0.15, and then I sold him at the beginning of the next season because he had a stellar preseason for 0.45. And so I thought, he's just back from injury. He reminds me a lot, not in the way he plays, but his importance in the team. He reminds me a lot of Dimitri Payet for Marseille. He's an old player that people might underestimate, and then he gets crazy scores. Only 0.28 and 0.29, the two that I've bought. I thought he was not a steal, but I thought it was definitely worth it. And I can see him pretty easily reaching 0.4, 0.5. So I definitely decided to go for him without any questions. Roland Richard, thanks for commentating, man. Look, it's going well, the rebuild. I'm pretty happy with it, obviously. We'll see if he gets me a reward. It started well already. The first game in K-League is going my way so far. But I'll definitely keep you guys updated. I appreciate you reaching out. I'll let you guys know how the rebuild goes and how many rewards I guess. That would I get quite a bit. Next, Maximiliano Morales was the first midfielder that I got. Sandro Tonali, I mean, everybody knows who Sandro Tonali is, one of the best Italian football players at the moment, only 21 years old, back from injury after a complicated season. He's getting great score with Milan. Milan is potentially going to win the league, so Champions League football next year. It could be the year that Tonali explodes on the international scene as well with the World Cup coming up. So I decided to bet on him. I think it's the kind of player that, if he does play regularly, could easily go over the ETH. So I decided to bet on him. Sean Davis, I was looking for a young midfielder around the 0.08 to 0.12. And so I started to look around, and I think he's a good utility player with Nashville. So I got him in. I've seen a couple of games of him because I'm lucky enough that MLS is at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. for me. Obviously, he's not the flashiest player at Nashville, but I think he's going to be coming handy for me. So I got him in, and then we'll see what he gives me. David Klaassen, I feel like with the amount of player that might potentially leave Ajax, he might get a shot of having more games earlier next season. He had a period this year where he was always on the bench. Hopefully, he'll change a little bit, and he is always, of course, an international from the Netherlands. So I was going to back him up 100%. Then the one player that I'm happy I got back from this sale to Rodibos, Kwame N'Guessan. He is the only card that has been ever made by Kwame N'Guessan. So that's my one collectible that I have. I have bought it for that price before, and then I sold my whole gallery, of course, like I just said. But the Rodibos, who's the guy that I sold the gallery to, if you guys are curious, I sold it at 85% of the former value. Rodibos contacted me after the sale and was like, oh, hey, I just realized that the Kwame that you sent me was a card that has been only made once and never again, which I really appreciate. I thought it was pretty fair. So I just told him, oh, yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind buying him back. So I just bought it back. So Kwame N'Guessan or Rominig Kwame, depending on which country his name is written. He's a midfielder at Troyes, the team from France. Troyes is a team that is in the City Football Group. So there's a chance that he moves somewhere. He's been one of the very good young midfielders in Ligue 1, and I really like his style of play. So that's why he's in there. He scores some good scores as well. He's interesting to have in your gallery. Him and Florent Tardieu are the two midfielders in Troyes. They only have one card each. I want to get Florent Tardieu, but he's over 30 years old. I don't know if I'm going to buy him yet. I'll see early next season if I buy it. I also know Florent Tardieu personally. He's born in the same city that I am. So it'd be cool to have his card, but I'll wait and I'll see if I do it or not. To stay in Ligue 1, I bought two Leandro Paredes. I've said in my very first video, I think, about Sorare a couple of weeks ago, that Leandro Paredes was one of those players that I thought was very underrated. So he's at underrated, I mean underpriced. So he's at 0.14, and I got him because I think once he's in form and once he plays, he's one of the very best midfielders potentially in the world. I think the Copa America that Argentina won he's got a lot to do in that win. He's got a lot to do in the midfield for Argentina. So with the World Cup coming up, and the World Cup is going to be very important for Argentina because it's Messi's last World Cup, I feel like Leandro Paredes will have a role to play again. Also next season, Paris Saint-Germain most likely going to play for the win again in Ligue 1. New coach Leandro Paredes might actually find some game time and actually show what he can do. I think that this player is going to come in handy. My strategy with Leandro Paredes, I keep one player to play next year, and I sell one player, hopefully 0.4, 0.5, depending on how he goes after a couple of games. That's for France. Let's stay in Europe, and let's go to Spain. Luis Milla. I was looking for two players, and I got Luis Milla, and then I got Luis Suarez that I'll show you in forward. Two players that would score me good scores, good points next game week. So next game week, this weekend is the last weekend for a lot of European clubs. And so I looked at all the clubs, what teams they are playing against, what are they playing for. And in France, I couldn't find something that I could tell maybe it's going to be a certain one. Then I went to Spain, and Granada is playing for their survival, and they're playing against Real Sociedad, who's not playing anything. Or Real Sociedad or Espanyol, I think. Oh, I'll remember. Anyway, they're playing against somebody else who's not playing for anything, and so I feel like Granada at home will do everything they can to win. So I got two Granada players, hoping that they're going to give me a reward next week, and then I'll keep them for next season because I think they're going to save themselves anyway and stay in Liga for next season, unless there's an earthquake, and then I'll have to figure something out when it happens. It's the risk to take, right? If we go to America, this is America. I talked about Maximiliano Morales, and I talked about Sean Davis, and then I got Noble Okello when he's not injured. He's a player that's very good for Toronto, and I'm quite surprised that his price has dropped so low because it's probably at 0.8, 0.07 or 0.08 when he plays, and he's young, and I think that when he's back from an injury, he's going to get some good game time with Toronto, because Toronto is not in the best of form right now in the MLS. So I got two of them, same thing, one that play, one that I might sell eventually. I'll just see, or maybe I play one in AS America and one in AS Under 23. In Asia, Jun Amano, one of my favorite midfielders, formerly of Yokohama FC, but now he plays with Ulsan in Korea. He's scored a lot of goals, gets a lot of assists, gets some pretty good AA. So it was a no-brainer for me to get him in. And young Yoon Jun, who is quite high in the goal scoring ladder and who plays for Gangwon and who's only 19 years old. So I decided to get him, even though he might not have all the starting. He's getting a pretty good rep in Korea right now. 13 rare midfielders, as you can see. Let's go and look at the limited. Limited midfielders, to talk about the players that I already have in rare and back in limited: Jun Amano, Leandro Paredes, Davy Klaassen, and Maximiliano Morales. Talk about the other player that I got. We're going to start in America. Jorge Mihailovic, for obvious reasons, 22 years old, stellar, astronomic, amazing with Montreal right now. Obviously not the cheapest limited card, but I wanted to have him because I think he's going to be one of those players who's going to give me quite a few reward. Pedro Santos, the Portuguese midfielder, kind of like the same reason at Columbus, is making a real difference and he's a very good midfielder, and he's getting quite a few good score in Sorare. Alex Ring, one of those midfielders that can play offensively and create a lot of opportunity for Austin, and Austin's playing really well this season, so I went on it without hesitating. And Daniel Gazdag, a midfielder from Hungary that scores quite a few goals, and so same thing. I didn't think twice, and I decided to get my Philadelphia Union midfielder in the team. If we go to Asia, Yasuto Wakizaka from from Kawasaki Frontal, scores well, score goals, scores good AA, scores good DS. So he's in the team for that reason. I had it in my former gallery and I like him. Kento Mizao, I think, is a sure value as well at Kashima Antlers, and the Antlers are having a very good season. And we talk about Jun Amano. And then the one player that we didn't talk about is Emre Can. Emre Can at 0.01 is a steal. I don't know why he's at that price, but I will keep taking players of his caliber coming at that price, especially that we know he has a chance to play with the international team as well. And Dortmund is a great team. 12 limited midfielder is what I got. All right, let's go back to rare and let's go to my forwards. I'm trying to make this video not too long, so then everybody who wants to rewatch it can rewatch it, and we're almost at the half-hour mark. If you're coming in now only, please subscribe and follow and leave comments and ask questions, whether on my Twitter or on YouTube or anywhere. What I've done now was selling my whole gallery this week, and then in about a day, rebuilt my gallery with 9 ETH, 9.2 ETH to be precise. And so I'm just presenting my team, and then I'll keep talking about it, talking about the rewards that I get with that team. Forwards, rare. One that I got because I already had it and because his price kept dropping, and I know his price is about to go up again. We start in Asia. Stanislav Ilyuchenko, German, Jeonbuk Motors. Jeonbuk Motors is one of the best team offensively in K-League. He doesn't always play because he's in competition with Gustavo and a little bit with Borough, but I think that he's going to score a few goals this season. He had a bit of an up and down start of 2022, but I trust that now he's kind of back. He was a bit rested. We'll see what he get. Maybe he'll work well, maybe he won't. But at 0.14, I think it's a pretty good catch because if I'm not mistaken, just before the season, he was going for 0.3, 0.4. So worst come worst, I give it for all year. And I sell him again next year. That's the only striker that I got from Asia. From the US, Romel Kyoto. It's not a stack that I have in Montreal, but I have a few players from Montreal, and Kyoto I think is going to score a few for Montreal this season. So I decided to get him in, and Daniel Saloy, the Hungarian prodigy that I really enjoy watching play, and 23 years old, I thought was worth getting in. In Europe, we'll talk about Griezmann at the end. Luis Suarez. So I said before that I wanted to get Granada players because I think that this weekend they're going to get me some results. So that's why I got Luis Suarez, 23 years old, Colombian. I think Granada this weekend. Oh, there it is. It is against the Espanyol Barcelona. So against the Espanyol, I would think that Granada is going to win, and I think both Luis Suarez and my other midfielder will get me some results. Antoine Griezmann, 0.5 for Antoine Griezmann. I mean, I know that he's not having a great season, but I think everybody knows how great Antoine Griezmann can be. It's a World Cup year. He wants to perform. He wants to be part of France getting a second World Cup 4 years later. So I got him in. I don't know if he's going to stay at Atletico Madrid because they don't love him right now. I don't know if Barcelona will want to get him back because they didn't love him either. I don't know where he's going to end up after the in the mercato if he goes anywhere. But one thing for sure, as soon as you're going to hear a rumor that Griezmann might change club, his price is going to skyrocket. So then I'll make a decision whether I keep him or whether I sell him. We're going to get close to the World Cup. His price is going to skyrocket as well. So I feel like it was an easy bet for me to go for Antoine Griezmann. He's a world-class player when he wants to play. He's a hard-working striker, and he more like a number 10, number 9.5, really. And I think it's always going to be a safe bet. So to me, that was a safe bet. Whether I keep it or I sell it later, I don't know. Just stay tuned and you'll see what I do. Limited forwards, a bit more. I had 7 rare, and I have 11 limited. Arkadiusz Milik twice. Oh, I didn't talk about Arkadiusz Milik for the rare. I'll talk about it for the limited. I am a Marseille fan. I know that there's a Lyon shirt here that doesn't say that, but I am a Marseille fan, and Arkadiusz Milik is a very talented striker. Doesn't work so well with Marseille this season, yet he's scored more than 10 goals already. I think he scored 20 goals. He scored a lot of goals with Marseille this season, despite not playing often. And whether he goes to another club or whether he stays next season, I think he's going to see a lot more football and he's going to score more goals and his price is going to go up. So I got 2 limited, one that I'll keep, one that I'll sell at the beginning of next season. And I think that's going to work out well for the Polish international, both for my rare and for my limited. If we go and look at my American striker, Adam Buksa, New England Revolution, Polish international, no-brainer. He scores goals. He sets up goals and is a striker that I really enjoy watching. Jesus Ferreira, who's having a very good season right now. I got him because he's at the top of the scoring ladder. He's only 20 years old, so it's also a no-brainer. And Kwado Opoku, same thing with Los Angeles FC, lots of speed. Also very well-oiled collective team, I think, LAFC. And so I got him in because I think his price might go higher, or at least he's going to get me some points in the meantime. Before we go to Asia, I'll just go back to Europe for 1 second. Lautaro Martinez, 0.1. I mean, I don't think I need to explain that. He plays for Inter Milan. He's one of the best strikers in the world, and he's under 23 at the moment, at least until the end of next season, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why he's in my squad, and also World Cup. Asia, Cecilia is just a goal-scoring machine, and he's finally back from injury. I think it's 2 goals and 3 assists in the past 3 games now. I just think Cecilia has Kaling a dirty thumb, and so that's why I always buy this guy. Gustavo, I got Ilyuchenko in rare, I got Gustavo in limited, so at least I always have one of the strikers for John Book Motors. Stefan Mugosha, who's scoring quite a few goals this season with Incheon, who's surprisingly high on the table in K-League. And so I just didn't hesitate and I decided to get him. And then Daya Tono from Kawasaki Frontal, because offensively at Frontal, I wanted to have a player so I can have a Kawasaki Frontal stack minus the keeper. But I didn't want Leandro Damiao because I feel like when I watch the games these days, he's just a bit less influent on their football. Daya Tono is an up-and-coming forward. He's only 22 years old. So I decided to trust him. I really liked Seko, the former forward from Yokohama FC, and then he joined Kawasaki, but except in the Asian Champions League, he hasn't seen much football, Tatsuki Seko. So I might get it later, but right now I focused on Daya Tono. And then Ayase Ueda, leading goal scorer in J-League or thereabout, an international as well with the Japanese national team, 22 years old, same thing. I don't need to ask myself too much if I get forward in J-League. Those two would mostly be in my choices. That's my team. That's my 78 cards that I bought with about 9.2 ETH, if I'm not mistaken. Look, again, that's what I did. I've played Sorare for now over a year and 2 months to be exact. And I was maybe focusing a little bit more on trading, buying young players, trying to sell them a bit more expensive. It worked out for me. I made a little bit of money, enough that I could afford kind of losing money, losing 85%, losing 15%, selling my whole gallery for 85%. But I felt like with the drop of the ETH, it was the right time to lose that money. And then I hope that I'll get it back in rewards. I will keep making videos presenting this team, seeing how many rewards I'll get. I might, it started well, like I said, in the very first game of this game week. I can see that both Hong Yong-un and Cecilia have already scored some good points. I'm just going to go and check right now how it is going for them. Cecilia is at 67.5 point, and then Stefan Mugosha has scored as well. He's my captain in my Champion as a limited team. So he's got, because he's the captain, he's got 79.7. And then Hong Yong-un, who's my defender in my Champion Asia rare team, is at 86.3 because he scored. So it's already, hopefully it's already paying off. And we'll see how far it goes for me with this team. Thanks, guys. Jeremy Magan here. I have a French football podcast. If ever you guys are interested, feel free to drop me a line. It drops every single week on Breaking the Lines. I enjoy joining Queenie in some of his videos to talk about French football and to present some players. There's going to be a lot of talk about French players or players from Ligue 1 in the off-season, because a lot of them are going to be bought from outside teams. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'm more than happy to answer all your questions about Ligue 1. I do follow Ligue 1. I watch probably 6 or 7 games every week. So don't hesitate, and I'll ask if you have any questions about my team, about my gallery, about Sorare. Don't hesitate to ask either. I'm more than happy to help. In the meantime, thank you for following. Just one last shout out. As you can see, there's a Lyon shirt here. I'm not a Lyon fan, but there's a podcast called Le Beau Jeu, which is the official Ligue 1 podcast. And every time you listen to it, there's a quiz in the middle of the podcast where they try to make you guess a player. I guessed the player right, and I was sent the shirt of Lucas Paqueta. I can't really turn it around, but trust me, it's Lucas Paqueta. It's a red shirt. It's a beautiful shirt, but it's got some weird colors, which is why it's maybe a bit weird on camera. I'm going to try and see if I can get it up. Hopla, look at it. Lucas Paqueta, number 10. I'm not a Lyon fan, but it's a nice shirt, and you should never say no to gift. Thank you, everyone, for following. I'll see you in next video. Ciao, ciao.